Hey there, I'm Benjamin Bryant from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers in Coffs Harbour, and this is Heather McKinnon from Bryant McKinnon Lawyers in Coffs Harbour. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Ben.
Hi. Here we are to launch episode 38 of our little podcast program called The Family Matters Show. This one, Heather, was about toxicology, forensic toxicology, in fact, with amazing expert, Professor Edward Ogden from Melbourne. He was fantastic. I know we've used him in a couple of matters, but to have him on the show, and I think we got about a half an hour out of him, and we went through some things because it's a difficult subject, and it seems pretty straightforward. You're either doing drugs or you're not, and the test is positive or negative. Wrong.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
But there's also a lot of the types of testing that are available. I know that I made a little joke that when I started my career, I wasn't doing it for 45 years like Heather and Professor Ogden, but we were gone from using breathalyzers at changeovers and urine samples on the street, not on the street, but urine samples, to hair testing on the street and CDT tests in pathology labs and stuff. And I'm sure, Heather, you've seen some changes over the years as well. But also talking about the windows. What does it mean? What are we actually measuring? So there's drugs in the system, but for what period? I thought that was really interesting.
And the thing that intuitively we've already always known is that in itself, drug abuse is just one part of the puzzle, because that doesn't necessarily mean that, your life as a parent's over. And he was really good about how he kept coming back to, but why is the person using? Try and understand that, because if the kids want a functional parent, the first thing is to find out why the parent is in the state they're in.
And we talked about having insight. I mean, people needing insight. It's not about going, they're using drugs. There's more to it than that. And Professor Ogden was very careful with his language, and quite rightly so, that sometimes it's very clear what it means. Sometimes it's not so clear, and it's just one piece of evidence, like you said, in an overall picture, and in a parenting matter, the court's overall assessment of what's in a child's best interest. And I know, Heather, you spoke a little bit about the impact on family, how toxicology impacts family law, and what the court's trying to do and investigate in their assessment of a child's best interest.
Yeah, and I thought the thing that he talked about that was most telling was that a real drug addict's prime motivation when they wake up in the morning is to get their next hit. And so invariably that means that the kids' needs will be second. So is there food in the fridge? Is mum or daddy in the house? It was really good how he tied it back to what's happening within that person's domestic sphere.
And we talked about what do the results mean? Like I said, it's not just positive and negative. I know Professor Ogden gave a great example, even looking at a test with for methamphetamines. Depending what metabolites are found in the test results with the methamphetamine determines what substances or what other substances were being used at the same time, for example, using alcohol and methamphetamine. So it's not just, here's a test, and I always joke, I said, tests should come in green, green, good to go, or red, something's wrong here. But it's not that simple. It's just not that simple. And so sometimes the test is not enough. And other times it's more than enough, and then some. It actually tells you something else. And also, we finished up, and that was my favourite section, Heather, dispelling some myths. People cutting their hair, dyeing their hair, drinking 4 litres of water, the whole bit. Oh, also Ritalin. Ritalin is not mistaken as methamphetamines. The results ring, guys, so don't try it. I thought it was a fantastic show, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to think it's a fantastic show. And not even just us, our clients, you guys, but other practitioners. And I think even judicial officers will get a lot out of Professor Ogden. So we're very grateful for him to give us his time. And we may even have him back on another show that was mentioned. So stay tuned for that. That's episode 38, Toxicology in Family Law. Check it out. You can, of course, contact us at familymatters@brianmckinnon.com.au. If you have any questions about the show or upcoming shows or ideas for us, you can check out this episode on our website, brianmckinnon.com.au, or wherever you get your podcasts.